Once upon a time there was a beautiful and kind girl named Cinderella. She lived with her father, a wealthy merchant, in a grand house. One day her mother becomes sick and suddenly died. Her father married again, but her stepmother, Lady Tremaine, was cruel and treated Cinderella poorly. Cinderella's new stepmother brings her two daughters to live in the house. They are spoiled and selfish, immediately making Cinderella feel like an outsider. When Cinderella's father died, Lady Tremaine and her two daughters, Drizella and Anastasia, made Cinderella do all the household chores and treated her like a servant. One day, the king invited all the young women in the land to a grand ball, so his son, Prince Charming, could find a bride. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters are excited and eagerly discussing their plans for the ball, but Cinderella knows she won't be allowed to attend, and she was sad. Suddenly Cinderella's fairy godmother appears and grants her wish to attend the ball, and helps Cinderella get ready for the ball by providing her with a beautiful dress, glass slippers, and a carriage. "Fairy Godmother," said Cinderella, "dear, you look absolutely stunning. But remember, my dear, you must leave the ball before midnight. The magic will only last until then. If you stay past midnight, the spell will be broken, and everything will go back to the way it was before." Cinderella arrives at the ball and captures the prince's attention with her grace and beauty. They danced together, and fell in love. But when the clock struck midnight, Cinderella had to leave quickly, leaving behind one of her glass slippers. The prince decided to search the mysterious woman he danced with. Despite facing obstacles and setbacks, the prince remains determined to find the owner of the glass slipper. He travels far and wide, visiting every village and town in the kingdom. Finally the prince arrives at Cinderella's house, where her stepfamily eagerly presents themselves as potential matches for the slipper. Her stepsisters tried to fit into the slipper, but it didn't fit them. They are shocked and outraged when Cinderella steps forward to try it on. Cinderella's stepmother tries to prevent her from trying on the slipper, but the prince insists. As Cinderella tries it on, her stepfamily watches in horror as it fits perfectly. With the slipper confirming Cinderella's identity, the prince whisks her away from her life of servitude. The prince was overjoyed and married Cinderella. They lived happily ever after, and Cinderella forgave her stepmother and stepsisters for their cruelty. The stepsisters, who had tried to win the prince's heart, were forgiven by Cinderella and invited to the wedding. They apologized for their cruel behavior and became kinder towards Cinderella. And so, Cinderella and Prince Charming lived happily ever after, ruling the kingdom with kindness and compassion.